Stop what you were doing, put down your pitch deck, and listen to this video first before you touch it again. I'm going to go through with you the one thing that you should not be doing with your pitch deck. Let's go. Hey there, founders. My name is Lauren Kane. I am pitch strategist and founder of VC Worthy Business. This channel is here to support you on your fundraising journey, all the way from your pitch creation until you have those investor dollars in your bank account. So do me a favor and click subscribe. There is a button right over there, and you'll be notified weekly as new content and information drops here that supports you on your journey as you get ready to take your business to the next level using investor capital. Okay. So let's talk about the one thing you should stop doing with your pitch deck. Okay, before I get into that, a little aside. So how I sort of came about this one thing, and it's so common, it's such a common thing I see, is I was working with clients, and the first thing that happens when I start to work with a client is that we pull apart their pitch. We pull apart their script, we pull apart their deck, and we put it all back together again. And I would say 7 or 8 times out of 10, what I hear is, oh my goodness, this is so close to my original pitch deck. This is so similar to what I had when I first started out. And that got me thinking, well, why is that? And so I did a lot of research and spoke with a lot of female founders. And what I find happens is you create this deck, and it is you. It is authentically you. You are shining through. The business is coming through in the way that you want it to shine. And then you go out and you pitch it. You go out and you use your deck, and you use your deck, and you use your deck. And then what happens? You get advice on how you should change your deck. So you make these changes to your deck maybe 5 times, 10 times over. And then the deck is no longer yours. It becomes its own self. It takes on a life of its own. And you no longer are shining through the way that you should shine through, especially at an early stage when an investor is investing just as much in you as they are your business. So really, that is the one thing. You need to stop making changes to your deck. Now, there's other videos on here about what you should include in your deck, but really, what you should have in your deck at the end of the day is you and your company. All the other stuff that will come through, that will be there, but you should really make sure that you shine through. And what happens when you take on investor advice, and look, hey, it comes from a place of love and support and wanting you to be successful with your business, wanting you to get investor dollars. But here's the thing, if they really meant the advice that they were giving, they would invest. So if you changed the competitor matrix and made it look how they said that you should, okay, will they invest? Will they invest now? Okay, I made these changes. Are you going to invest now? Probably not. So they're giving you some advice, mostly because sometimes, they just want to give you something, so you feel like you got something out of the conversation. But if you make those changes, you're making the changes based on the feedback of one person. Now, granted, it might be an investor who has seen 100 deals, but they're evaluating the 100 deals on their own personal bias or their own personal thesis of their fund. That doesn't mean that it is going to be attractive to the right investors for you and also the masses. So what do? Well, it's a very easy thing. You say, thank you, Mrs. or Mr. Investor, for this advice. I really appreciate your time. You note it. You say, okay, I'm going to make note of it over here in a spreadsheet. And as you start to get similar feedback, and there's no rough number, but when it's around 5 times, then take a step back and say, okay, should I make a change now to my deck? Or am I not getting through the message that I want to get through? If you are constantly having questions about your business model and it not making sense, okay, is there something in your script that you need to change? Is there something in your deck that you need to change that's not being highlighted well enough that investors are understanding what you need them to understand? Then make the change. But don't rely and make a change based off of what one person has told you. everyone has different philosophies. I have a different philosophy than someone else on decks and script. Mine is more geared towards, okay, what is going to have the appeal based on the ideal investor that you want to reach versus what my individual investment thesis is. But you really want to make sure that you're staying in the mindset of your ideal investor. So when you are looking at your deck, take a step back and say, okay, is this attracting my ideal investor? And if you get feedback from an ideal investor and you're like, okay, I want to make this change because it's really not clicking with them, then make the change. If you get the feedback from 5 people and they're the wrong investors, it doesn't matter. They're not the right people for you anyway. So you just want to make sure that you are being really, really clear on why you're making the changes, and don't do it every time. It doesn't make sense for you. It's going to take away from what you're trying to have come through, and which is you. So stand in who you are and stand in your deck. Now, okay, so 2 pieces of other quick advice for your deck, which I go into more detail in other videos. Make sure highlight your problem in the beginning and your solution. Those are the 2 things that you should have in your deck in the beginning. You can have your content arranged anywhere else that you want within your pitch. It doesn't matter where your market size and or your team shows up in your deck, but make sure that your problem and your solution are in the very, very beginning. Break out your script first and write that sucker down. Have it come out authentically from you, from your body, and then have your deck meet your script, not the other way around. Okay, and then one final thing, I said 2, but now I'm going to do 3, is create that white space in your deck. You will hear a lot of times feedback from potential investors that they want more words, more things. But the reality of it is the more words or things, actions, whatever it may be that you have in your deck, the more it's going to take attention away from you. So your deck is your accessory to your pitch. Use it to hit home a point that you want to make, or if you don't remember that one number on your financial model, have that one number on your deck somewhere that makes sense and looks good, of course, but that will help you remember what you wanted to say and how you wanted to say it. But don't let others control your pitch deck. It is yours. It is your business. You know it better than anyone, and stand in that power and go get pitching. I thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.